Hello, welcome to the Fantasy Source Fastball Podcast. My name is David A. Arnott, sitting here with George Winkler, and we have an interesting day. We've had an interesting week thus far. Dan Herron has been traded for a sack of magic beans. The Giants are coming up tight on the Padres' tail. I mean, we're both Giants fans. Something very interesting. So we're interested with that. But in the fantasy world, the deadline in Major League Baseball causes problems for us, mainly because guys who we would normally be looking for talent, we're not really necessarily looking for guys who are talented anymore, digging those guys up because they're already all up if they're already up there.
That's true. I mean, right now we're looking for opportunity. We're looking for at-bats. We're looking to catch a guy who's hot for a week. And a couple of players who came to the forefront last night were Ryan Rayburn and Rick Ankiel. They're both going to get major playing time now that there have been injuries in front of them. And sometimes if you can get these guys for a week, that could be enough in the end when you're trying to compile homers, steals to win a rotisserie league.
Yeah, so when basically what we're getting at here is that if you're hoping for a Buster Posey type of rookie impact player to suddenly appear in Major League Baseball, I think it's probably a good idea to lay that idea to rest. That guy is not going to be coming up anytime soon. You're going to be looking for guys who are just getting regular playing time because, you know what, at this point, David DeJesus goes out. Who do they stick in? I mean, if they had a great player, they would have put him in. Alex Gordon, though, is a little bit different in that, you know, the Royals are being a little weird by keeping him down in the first place. But that type of player not coming up, and really you should be scouring the waiver wire for more of a stopgap solution, and then go to the next stopgap right after that. Go to the stopgap right after that. Am I characterizing your comment very well, or would you characterize it differently?
No, that's absolutely correct. And Alex Gordon is up, and they're playing him in right field, but I still think Ankiel is the choice there because he has at least a track record of having some success with the power. We're still waiting to see what Gordon can do. But yeah, you're getting a lot of reports on guys like Kyle Drabeck who are going to be shut down. Jeremy Hellickson's going to be moved to the bullpen. So yeah, the options are getting thin with the prospects. Like you said, you're right on about Posey. I mean, that guy's been phenomenal, and you're not going to find that on the wire right now. And so your best options are to catch these guys in short-term flashes of brilliance, and then, you know, of course, still work on the trades too. That's your biggest impact because the trade deadlines are coming up in a fantasy as well.
Right. One of the things that I believe you already somebody wrote about on the site already today, is about how picking up guys in anticipation of moves that are going to be made. For instance, relievers almost always, it seems, get moved around at the deadline because somebody figures, you know what, I'll take terrible Team A's closer and make them one of my setup guys because I've already got an established closer. Do you see anything like that happening this trade deadline?
Yeah, there's several closers who are on the block. Matt Capps, Octavio Dotel, David Aardsma. And, you know, I'm noticing some of the sneakier guys in my leagues are picking up Evan Meek, Drew Storen, Brandon League, and you know, you might think it is sneaky and maybe a little bit dirty, but it is a good move. And if you have the roster space to do it, you should try to jump on those because, you know, not only are we looking at the value of the guys who get traded, but we're looking at what's left behind and trying to anticipate what's going to happen down the line.
I mean, in deeper leagues, like the deepest of deep leagues, Evan Meek and those types of guys are probably already going to be picked up for their ERA, whip, strikeouts as a relief pitcher. But when you're talking about suddenly now you've got a guy who can get some garbage saves, frankly, for a crap team. Now you've got that's where you're going to be finding the value from here on out.
Yeah, and we all know how valuable saves are and how tough they are to get and how much you have to pay for them in a trade. So if you can pick up one of these guys and get them on the cheap, that's even better. Some of the other position players that could go up in the better roles via trades are Dominic Brown for the Phillies and Logan Morrison for the Marlins. They're looking to move Jason Worth or Jorge Cantu, and those guys could slot in as well. So, you know, we're all digging around looking for these guys and trying to make it through the end because it's a marathon.
I mean,
baseball.
The end point being with just a couple months more, a little bit more than 2 more months left in the season, you're going to be looking for every single edge that you can get, And if that means magically picking up an extra closer or magically picking up an extra starter when you've been trying to peel through your corner infielders or something like that, like just mixing and matching, streaming guys, that can be huge for you.
This is when it gets kind of fun because you see what kind of a fantasy owner and what kind of dedication you do have because
are you making the manly man argument right here? Like, bring your dedication.
Absolutely.
Bring it.
We are just going to fight to the end, and we're looking for guys with good matchups. Maybe they had a couple of good games. They have some good upcoming matchups, some good splits. Maybe the guy's good on the road, and he has a road trip coming up. This is how you try to cobble together some good stats toward the end of the season and make up for some of these injuries you've incurred along the way.
George, thanks for joining us on the Fantasy Source Fastball Podcast.
Absolutely.